today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. A recent post from 7 Division champion Amanda Serrano, who says, "It's Monday, and already I'm back on my grind. Time to get back down to featherweight to defend my titles, as nice as it has been being able to eat. As much as I wanted to go up those 3 weight classes, it actually feels better going on a strict diet and the discipline it takes to make fight weight. I'm also going back to establishing 12 3-minute round fights. It felt good being the first to do it and go the entire time, proving that it can be done." I think that Alicia Baumgartner may be disappointed to hear that Amanda has every intention of returning to what is her natural weight class, since Alicia has been angling for a fight with either her or Katie Taylor. Alicia will just have to find somebody else to fight, or take my recommendation of just moving up in weight. Move up to lightweight. There are better names at lightweight than there are right now at super feather. As Amanda returns to the featherweight division, where Tiara Brown has the WBC, Germany's own Nina Menka has the IBF, and Amanda holds the other 2 alphabet titles, the WBA and the WBO. Mission accomplished. The trilogy is now completed, and with it, both Katie and Amanda have helped to elevate the sport and take it to places it has not otherwise been. Each fight ended up being bigger than the last. The second was bigger than the first, and the third was bigger than the second. Bigger than the second in the sense that they were headlining on Netflix. They weren't on an undercard like they were the second time out. Big enough that Netflix actually paid to have Charlize Theron narrate the featurettes in the build-up of the fight. Big enough that it drew in between 4 and 6 million viewers during the live broadcast. The goal isn't just winning. It's not just about winning a fight and making some money. It's taking the sport to new heights and entering it into the collective consciousness of the boxing community at large and those outside of that community to reach that casual audience. Boxing on a platform as big as Netflix, getting them interested. They've got a bigger megaphone than anybody. They are many times bigger than a DAZN, than an ESPN. Netflix has the reach of a terrestrial network. Over 300 million subscribers worldwide. So even if Amanda wasn't awarded the decision in any of the fights in the trilogy, it's still a mission accomplished, because the goal here is bigger than just Katie's career or Amanda's career. It's to normalize the conversation. It's to bring money to the sport of women's boxing and keep it there, keep interest there. Now she's going back to feather, where she's still a unified champion, and she's got some options. Via the WBA, she has a mandatory challenger in the queue in Jennifer Miranda, who gave a good account of herself on the undercard of Taylor vs. Serrano 3, opposite the ring, Alicia Baumgartner. She gave Alicia Baumgartner all she could handle and introduced herself to the world in the process. Both Jennifer and Amanda are coming off of losses, and I anticipate that Jennifer, like Amanda, may be dropping back down to featherweight, where she normally campaigns, and she's a big featherweight. And remember that MVP signed her too. They're promoting her too, so they could do a fight between Amanda and Jennifer, or they could have Amanda hand over that WBA title to Jennifer so she can become a champion at that weight. There are a lot of ways they can play it. There is also Nina Menka, the IBF champion that Amanda Serrano was supposed to fight some time ago, but due to that unfortunate accident, she wasn't able to compete. They could always reschedule that thing, except this time, they're both champions. It's a good working relationship there as Amanda returns to a more natural weight for her. Amanda's not a big woman. For a perspective, you could stand her right next to Chantel Cameron and you would see the difference in their build. Where Chantel is a natural 140-pounder, Amanda is not. She's very lean. She basically had to eat her way up to 140 pounds. And that's why all of her stints at 140 pounds, even when she was a champion there, it was only briefly, because she's not a natural super lightweight. It is not a natural weight. There is enough time left in this calendar year for her to get out there at least one more time, though overall, I don't imagine she's going to be in the sport that much longer. Maybe 1 or 2 more fights? Cap off her career off of some victories, some wins, cap off her career on a high. It's the latest when it comes to Amanda. She's moving back down to feather.
This is what I've heard, and I wonder what your reaction to it was. There was a party at Daniel Dubois' house, ordered by his father, with about 70 people at the house.
The day of.
The day of. The afternoon
impossible.
of. The afternoon
Was
of.
Daniel there?
Yes.
Was Daniel there?
Daniel couldn't have been around.
And the people that
that's-
were there were not known to Daniel, to such a point that Daniel actually asked his father if he could go out for a drive because he didn't know anybody there.
That is insane. Sorry.
And then beyond that, you'll see footage of it. The entourage, this party that Daniel doesn't seem to know anybody of, were all coming to the fight, but they weren't allowed in the arena. And so on the way in, they're being asked by security as to the reasons why they come in, and Daniel is being stopped and told, I think his father told security that unless you let these guys in, he's not fighting.
Oh, that is sorry.
How disruptive.
That is very. That is a different story altogether. That is insanely disruptive. Wow.
I mean, we're talking about fighters being regimental on the day and superstitious on the day, and some fighters want to wear a ring in their laces and all that sort of stuff. And it all has to be on point for you to go in there because, like you say, like any little thing can throw you off track.
That is not a little thing.
Could you imagine? No, can you
That's why I'm asking
imagine going through that?
Yeah.
No.
And the problem is, it's coming from someone that he looks out of the ring when they're talking. It's coming from his dad. Obviously, I've trained with him. His dad's a huge part of his life. So that is obviously going to be disruptive.
Are you surprised by this, Joe?
I am very surprised. Shocked.
And so you have to imagine that ahead of a big moment, a big tournament, a big game, in this instance, a big fight, that an athlete has certain rituals, traditions, things they like to do ahead of that big moment to keep them on the straight and narrow, to keep them focused, to keep their eyes on the prize. You hear it all the time how, ahead of a big fight, a lot of fighters abstain from sexual intercourse as to not weaken their legs.
Let me till I come, please.
Sorry, sweetheart, but I can't do that. I got a fight coming up.
Not a scientist, and I don't know how much or how little sexual intercourse may affect a fighter's ability to fight, but this is the kind of stuff you hear. This is the kind of stuff that a lot of fighters do to stay focused, to stay on the straight and narrow, so that when you hear Daniel's dad scheduled a party the day of the fight, that afternoon, when the last thing that Daniel needs is to be distracted. This party doesn't necessarily mean that Daniel was slamming down Jägermeisters right before he took on the Usyk fight, but at minimum, it does render him distracted, doesn't it? Having all those people around, if this rumor turns out to be true, and it was his father behind this. How many times do we talk about the role of boxing dads here on the channel? A lot of the time, it's the dads that start their sons out on this path. But it's a relationship that seems to wear out its welcome after a while, its usefulness. This was a very critical moment in Daniel Dubois' career. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this afternoon party, this afternoon soiree, is what costed Daniel the fight. No, he already lost to Usyk before, and I'm pretty sure they didn't throw a party in Poland the first time out. Remember, the first fight was in Poland, and I'm pretty sure that in Poland, they didn't know 70 people to bring with them to have a little shindig right before the fight. So let's not overstate the role of all of this. I think that Daniel would have lost anyway on Saturday, party or no party. It's just another example of how a father's relationship with his son, their son the boxer, can become toxic and counterproductive, counterintuitive, as it is counterintuitive to be doing this right before he's going to enter the ring. He needs silence. He needs to focus. Focus on his opponent, focus on his game plan. It's quite cavalier to throw a celebratory party when you haven't gotten the victory yet. Daniel's father must have been feeling quite confident to do something like this, and Daniel must not have been confident enough to tell him not to. What sort of speaks to something that Dave Allen said in a recent interview about Daniel Dubois, questioning whether or not he actually wants to fight, or is he just doing it for someone else? Someone like his father.
But Dubois now probably needs a good rest and probably needs to decide if he wants to box as well, I think. Does he really need to box? He's a multi-millionaire. No.
That's
and let me tell you why. Because that's 3 times now he's sat it out. And you might say that's unfair, but he's sat it out 3 times now. Last night, compared to Joyce and the Usyk fight, he definitely sat. No,
Dave. He's 27 years old, right?
No, but he's sat out 3 times now.
All right, okay. Well, listen, whatever opinion about that is.
If I trained in amateur boxing, it was 14, and 3 times he went down and could have got back up and he didn't, I'd say, mate, pack it in. He's a multi-millionaire. I'm not saying he should pack it in, and he definitely punched my head in. But what I'm saying is, he has all that money. I watched Dubois and I think he's an amazing fighter, but does he really want to do it? Is he doing it for himself? That's how I feel watching him. Sometimes I feel like, does he even want to be here? Is he doing it just because he's good? Is he doing it to please someone else? That's how I feel when I watch him. Do you think I'm wrong?
No, but I disagree with your comments about kind of at the age of 27, arguably he's not even hit his peak yet, right? And you're referring to the fights against Joyce and 2 fights against Alexander Usyk, yes?
Yes, but why keep throwing the kid in if he does he really want to be there though? Do you think he really wants to box?
I saw Dave Allen's reaction to the fight before I caught wind of the afternoon soiree that his father threw, and then it all made sense. What Dave Allen was suggesting is Daniel boxing because Daniel wants to box, or because his father wants him to box? Because his father wants him to keep boxing so that they can keep up a certain lifestyle where they can throw a party in the middle of the afternoon for 70 people. Dave Allen thinks he quit. Dave Allen thinks he chose to stay down. So does Derek Chisora. Derek said him not getting up, that is him quitting. So now he has to fix that whole situation now. 3 times he's not beaten the count. And according to them, it's because he didn't want to. Oftentimes people get offended when the fans suggest that a fighter quit. Well, it's the fighters suggesting that Daniel quit. And it's a fighter suggesting that Daniel may not be fighting because he wants to fight, but because his father wants him to fight. And that's a very dangerous game, to approach this sport half-hearted. This is not like flipping burgers at McDonald's where you can do the job half-hearted. Just going through the motions. You can't do that here. You're gonna get hurt. And Daniel did get hurt. He's 27 years old, so he can come again. And I can think of at least 5 or 6 decent-sized fights that Daniel can build himself up to, that he can come again. The question is, given all the money that he's already made, should he? The money that he's made just boxing on Queensberry Promotions shows, all the money that he's made in Saudi from the Miller fight, the Hrgovic fight, the money that he made at Wembley, knocking out Anthony Joshua, the money that he just made. Because even though he got knocked out on Saturday, he still got paid, you know. Millions! Maybe you don't realize this, but Daniel Dubois already is a multi-millionaire. But who do you think is controlling his money? Not trying to be funny here. It's a serious question. Do you believe that Daniel Dubois governs his own finances? Or is it more likely than not that it's his father that decides how the money gets spent? Because in an arrangement like that one, you might see a situation where Daniel doesn't really care to box, but he still does because of his dad, not because he wants to. And maybe that was Dave Allen's roundabout way of saying that without saying too much. In any event, I don't expect Daniel Dubois to announce his retirement. No, he's only 27 years old. There's plenty of fights out there where he can make plenty of money. So on that predication alone, in spite of the concerns of some, I expect Daniel to come again, for better or worse. I think he's gonna keep fighting. And now it's time for another installment of what is fast becoming one of the more popular segments here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail, where I address the disgruntled comments of people that for whatever reason are mad at me. Longtime subscriber to the channel, Last of a Dying Breed, who's normally disgruntled about what I say in reference to Clarissa Shields, apparently got in his tits over what I said about Teofimo Lopez? Him again? He said, only broke folks be in their feelings. These millionaire billionaires don't care anything about what you're crying about. There is no burning bridges. Everything is about $1. You're out of your league and stay in your lane. What is he talking about? Well, in my previous video, we talked about Turkey LL Sheik's recent comments that he doesn't want to work with Teofimo anymore because Teofimo disrespected his country and his religion. Who's in their feelings about that? I'm not. I just brought it up as a point that if Turkey doesn't want to work with Teofimo anymore, that closes the door on certain fights, like the Hitchens fight, the Stevenson fight, or the Matias fight, unless Turkey changes his mind. But I'm not upset about it. Turkey is. He's the one that said it. What the hell's this guy's problem? Guy's stupid. This is a guy who on more than one occasion claimed to be Terence Crawford's cousin. And I took it at face value. I took it for what it was. If he says he's Terence's cousin, maybe he is. You never know who's watching your videos. You never know who you're gonna bump into in the comment section of one. Just the other day, Tiara Brown was there for my live stream. On more than one occasion, I've talked to Rachel and Nonito Donaire, as well as former champion Sonny Edwards, Hall of Fame inductee Timothy Bradley, former champion Jamel Herring, several others, to where if a guy tells me that he's Terence's cousin, I'll take it at face value. I'll believe him. But when you go as far as defending Teofimo Lopez, Teofimo who's disparaged your cousin on more than one occasion. Terence is your cousin, right? That's what you said. You're so defensive of Clarissa Shields, who's not your cousin, but you're not defensive of Terence? You're defensive of Teofimo, who takes shots at Terence. Terence, who's supposed to be your cousin.
Yeah, right.
So this guy basically lost his speaking privileges as a result of the constant attacks and the constant shots that he likes to take at me over videos that he chooses to watch because he chooses to come here. There are a million other content creators out there, a million other boxing channels that you don't have to keep coming to this one, let alone taking shots at me over what my opinion is. You're the one that wants to know. This guy's been coming here for years, but only recently did he catch an attitude. You're getting an attitude with me because I quoted Turkey LL Sheik when he said he doesn't want to work with Teofimo.
Why are you mad?
It doesn't even matter. Just hit the fucking bricks. Go on. Just go. Take your attitude with you.
Why don't you get the hell out of here?
Take your attitude with you. You see, that's the problem with the internet. It connects people that otherwise wouldn't even talk to each other, because this guy's too goddamn stupid to hold a conversation with. He's too stupid to be here.
Too immature.
And that's the thing about stupid, immature people. They try to occupy the same spaces as you and me, so that they can feel mature, so that they can feel smart.
You just wore out your welcome.
An inconvenient truth. Guys like you are always going where you're not wanted, and it's not your right to be there. Case in point, I'm sure you'd love to curse me out in the comments, but you can't. Because your speaking privileges have been revoked. It's a privilege to leave a comment. It's a privilege to talk to me. As soon as I don't want you to, you can. Stupid little bitch.
Go cry in the car.